Hello everyone, it's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. I'm here with a series. I'm sure it'll be a series of videos that I'm calling Matting 101. All right. And what is matting? Matting is covering your album in pattern paper, making your naked album look super pretty with pattern paper. All right, so I will be demoing the matting on these two particular albums, and these are called my Picture Perfect mini albums, and you'll find that the link in the description box below. So you have to make these albums, follow my instructions. And in my instructions, I never give matting dimensions, measurements, cut your pattern paper at this uh, size for each to cover each page. There's a reason for that, and I'm going to explain as I go along. All right, but if you need some fundamentals in terms of matting, do's and don'ts, which truly there are not very many, this video will help you along and you can follow this video with all of my tutorials in terms of matting. All right, so again, picture perfect mini albums, and I'm going to take you through my process. What you want to have is obviously a completed mini album. You want to pick one thing about these mini albums, in the Picture Perfect mini tutorial, you get these both. What I'm doing for 2017 is creating a mini album, and I am challenging myself to create it a second time in a landscape version. So all of my projects I will try my best to have a portrait style and a landscape. All right, although in both mini albums you should be able to fit both portrait and landscape photos in either or, but you may like this look versus this look. All right, so you get them both. The pages are similar in style, except that one is portrait and one is landscape. All right, so important information there. All right, the paper collection that I'm using is Bobunny Merry and Bright. All right, so I just have one paper collection. I picked the Noteworthy embellishments, and I also I picked up the journaling. What is this called? The Merry and Bright Miscellaneous Me, the journal content. All right, is that what it's called? Yep, Merry and Bright Journal Contents. Okay, it has these larger pages here, these style pages here, where they have nice die cut edges, and it also has the 4x6 cards, and it also has a set of 3x4 cards. So that's all I'm using, guys. All right, and the Noteworthy is a selection of die cut elements that match the pattern paper. If you notice, I don't use any three-dimensional, I didn't pick any three-dimensional items. I'm a very simple crafter, so you can embellish as much or as little as you like, and I will take you through my process. Okay? And I think we can get started. The first thing that I do is I'm going to start with this album first in the portrait orientation. And by the way, these are 8x6 mini albums, so very economical in terms of using cardstock and pattern paper. You can use a 6x6 paper pad on these particular albums. The only thing is you're going to have to uh, seam your papers together, and I will show you that as well. You may say, Kathy, these are kind of big for your album. They don't fit necessarily, but I'm going to show you how to use these fun elements and cut them down and use them in your album, although they may not fit, but you can alter them to fit. You may absolutely love this edge here, and you're like, darn it, that's just not going to fit in my page, but it's most certainly going to fit on my cover, and I really like this for my cover. So the first thing that I do is I pick my papers for my cover, and I usually pick 3 different papers because that's just the way I roll, guys. All right, so I'm going to look at my papers, and there is no amount of time or length that you have to take. Guys, enjoy the process, okay? Who cares what anybody does and says take, 10 minutes to find your paper and that's it? No. Look at your paper, enjoy it, enjoy the process. Now, the reason why you're going to pick your cover papers first is because you're going to cut up all this paper to do your matting. All right, and you don't want to be left with small pieces that you're not going to be able to cover your entire book. So I've already determined that I want to use this for my cover, but I'm still going to pick three pattern papers just in case I change my mind. All right, and that way I don't have to commit to to any specific look, and I'll still have my papers will still be large enough that I can cut them for my cover. All right. And I'm shooting the breeze with you here, guys. There is no, I don't have an outline of what I'm going through. This is my process. And I'm a big fan of this print right here, guys. So I may wind up changing this. Like for instance, I love this here, and I would be able to use my check with this. If I wrap it, I would be able to use my check. So I'm kind of feeling this look right here, guys. All right, so I'm going to pick this one. And I also love the look of a very bold back cover. So I think I'm going to take a stab at this one. Oh, I can't because I only have two of those. Never mind. I am a lover of stripes, so that would be perfect for my um my my spine, and I'm going to pick this one because I think this would be gorgeous as a back cover. All right, so I've got my three papers, and these are pretty much just my favorites. This is what I would love to see on my cover. All right, that's it. That's all I do. These are the three papers I would love to see on my cover. And I'm also going to put this one to the side because I love this edge. I love it's kind of done for me. I don't have to do it, right? I don't have to put a ribbon. I don't have to do anything. This is done for me. I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but I like it and I think I'm going to. All right. This would be totally cute on my cover as well. So we'll see what happens. All right. All right. So now that I've picked my papers for my cover, I put those to the side. I do not decorate my cover. Why? Because you're going to be opening and closing this book. Your cover is going to get all jacked up. It's going to get dirty. How about if you got ink on the table, right? Don't do your cover until you're done matting the inside of your book. If you want to, go for it. But just keep in mind that you may dirty your cover. If you like three-dimensional items on your cover, they're going to get flat and all jacked up. Try to leave your cover for last. All right? Just little helpful tips that will get you through your matting process. All right, so now I organize my workspace. Okay, I use two paper trimmers. One that you're going to see, I really don't use this one, but because I'm working on camera with you guys, I'm going to use this paper trimmer. And this is a Fiskars. This one has a 3-inch or 4-inch bed, whatever this is called here, whatever the dimensions is here. This one has that wire rib, that wire trim, that wire, uh, the wire that guides you through your cutting. It tells you exactly where you're going to cut. But my favorite trimmer that I always use for matting, and I'm not going to use today because it has its own little home, is the Rotatrim. This is the Master Cut 2, and I have the 12-inch, and I also have a larger one. So this is what I use for matting, but you will not see me cutting if I use this one. So today I am going to use that smaller one. Okay, and with this trimmer you can cut paper and chipboard. All right, one trimmer does it all. Don't pick up this trimmer by this rail here. All right, always pick it up by the sides. You never want to lose the alignment of your trimmer. All right, so again, for matting purposes, I'm going to use this one. Now let's talk about why in my tutorials, I don't give you the dimensions to cut your papers, and I'm not giving them to you today. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to cut them at. Why can I not remove this? Oh, it's stuck there. All right, what you do is you determine what border, how thick of a border you want to see on your book. All right. So I personally like an 1/8-inch border all the way around my pages. And let me give you an example of that. Hold on. Here's a small mini album that I did. This one is from my Everyday Life series. This is the small album. It's a 6x6. All right. So an 1/8 inch border will look like this. Okay. So for an 1/8 inch border, you're going to cut your paper 1/4 of an inch smaller than your page size. Okay. For a 1/2 inch border, which I probably do not have an example of that here because I don't do it often. It all depends on the look that I'm going for. All right, so this is an example of an 1/8 inch border, clear example. You have that 1/8 of an inch all the way around the perimeter of every surface that you cover in pattern paper. All right, so let me show you what what a um, what a 1/4 inch border will look like. For a 1/4 inch border, this mat here is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. You would cut your paper a 1/2 inch smaller than this piece. The surface that you're going to cover in pattern paper, you're going to cut your mat a 1/2 inch shorter, and that'll give you a 1/4 inch border around the perimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 5 1/2 by 3 1/2, and that'll give me a 1/4 inch border. And that's what that looks like. All right. Now it all depends what kind of border you want. And I cut that a little bit shorter, which is my bad. All right, I forgot let me do it right. I don't want to confuse you guys. It's actually 5 3/4. It's a bad example by 3 3/4. So this is your 1/4 inch border all the way around. All right, so if you want that bold border, you're going to cut your paper a 1/2 inch smaller than the surface. All right, if you want the 1/8 inch border, you're going to cut your paper a 1/4 inch smaller than the matting surface. That's it. It is that simple to mat your book. All right, so it's a matter of preference. If you want less of a border, then you cut it exactly to the size of your page. It all depends the look that you want in your book. My preference is an 1/8 inch. I cut everything a 1/4 of an inch smaller. All right, so there's my matting style is very unique, I think, to myself, and I think everybody's matting style is very unique to to the individual. So you may not agree with my matting style, but here we go. Or you may love it. And I'm having coffee with you also. You'll hear me sipping my coffee periodically. All right, so here in the tutorial, I show you how to create this pocket. I show you how to create everything. All right, in terms of construction. So I've got a really bold pocket here in terms of glitter. And I'm going to mat inside this pocket because I want that to pop. And so I'm going to use something really plain. Okay. So again, 1/4 of an inch smaller than the surface that you're cutting. And what I do, because I don't want to forget, once I measure a page, I write it down so I don't forget. I don't have to remeasure. But doesn't always work, my friends. Sometimes I have to remeasure. So just again, enjoy the process. It's not it's not some crazy competition of sorts that you have to lose the fun out of crafting. Okay? So I'm cutting my paper 1/4 of an inch smaller, and I'm going to mat. And this is going to go on the inside. All right, so it's going to slip in there nice and neat. I don't glue anything down. All right, don't glue anything down to the very end unless I do, I'm satisfied with a look, and I may glue down a halfway through the book, and you'll see that. Okay, you will see. So now that I've picked my pattern papers for my um Sorry, I lose my train of thought every so often. And I'm just remeasuring to make sure I got that outside measurement correct. All right, very simple. And I want to, again, write it down because I don't want to forget. See, I already forgot. I need some ginseng. Is that what it is that you need for remembering things? Because I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say next. So I don't have to worry about it. I can just do this very quickly. And again, you want to enjoy a 1/4 of an inch smaller, guys, is what I'm going for. Okay, quickly writing down, and then I don't have to think about it. And this one I can cut by 6 1/4, so I don't have to waste that paper. Okay, and then once I measure this, this will be a piece of cake going forward. So it seems like they're all going to be the same height. I've already determined that, at least for the larger pieces. And you'll notice that I follow a pattern, okay? But I made this book several months ago, so I can't, a month or two ago, so I can't remember. All right, so you'll notice that I follow a pattern. The measurements will repeat themselves, and it'll be easy for you to map, okay? So see, I'm going through this process with you all. Very, very simple. All right, so I like to cut the larger piece first, but that please do not make that your rule of thumb. Okay, it all depends on the design of the paper, how you want the orientation to look, and all that good stuff. With small albums, I like to have a similar pattern going all the way across. I don't like to have too much choppiness. All right, and I'll explain to you what that means. I have to get used to this trimmer because I haven't used it in a while, so the cutting will be different. So I want to create a really nice cohesive look. I don't want anything too crazy. All right, and again, just double checking my measurements because I am notorious. If you take any of my classes, I am notorious for cutting incorrectly. Okay, so because this is going to give me a big look, I want to be sure to, and I remember that, to cover everything nice and neat. And this is not going to, I was trying to save this piece of paper for down there, but it's not enough. And this way is too short. All right, so I'll have to pick another one. You see how I try to save my paper? I try. I'll be able to use that in these small pieces here. So I'm going to open up this book and I'm just going to go in here so I could cut everything down to size and just go for it. Alrighty. And that way I don't have to worry about it. And this trimmer 1, 2, 3 is a pain. Alrighty, right here. I have to get used to this. And you're not even watching me cut, so I may be able to use my other one, which may be easier for me. All right. So I'm going to walk you through this very quickly. So see, I use this, these small pieces for here because I want to be able to use them up. I'm going to go ahead and round my corners as necessary, still not gluing anything down, not just yet. You can use the opposite side for I've got still some bits and pieces of this paper left, so I'm going to use it for the opposite side, and that way you don't have a ton of scraps all over the place. All right, you will absolutely appreciate this. So I always try to use that paper that I just chopped up to my advantage, and I just try to keep on cutting it up. And I kind of like this red and green. I can go for that on the inside. It'll still look cute. Why not, right? And I'm going to round my corners. And that's going to go on the inside. So I don't have to worry. Now that's all done. Again, I'm leaving it alone. I'm not even bothering. These little pieces, sometimes I keep them, sometimes I just put them in, I pile them up so they're not all over the place. You know, I just kind of pile up the little pieces so they don't get mixed up in my large pieces, because that's when it starts becoming super duper messy. And I've got this for here. I can use this here. Let's see what paper I choose for right here. And I'm more than likely going to use this same paper. So let me grab it. And once I create my look, I either mat or I just keep on going, just laying my papers down because it's just easier for me. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece. So again, see, there's a lot of repetition of the pattern paper. There's a reason for that because these are small areas, okay? Very small areas that you do not want to create a super duper choppy look. Oh, what did I do? This one's coming over here, I think I said. You see, I miscut, my friends. This was already cut for here and here, and I was supposed to be cutting this center piece. Now I want to just go ahead and punch myself. I say that all the time too. So I messed up. So let me go ahead and recut. I had already had that piece cut. It doesn't have to go all the way down because this is what I want for here. And I haven't talked about gluing yet. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you in just a minute. So I have this extra piece, this extra piece. Now for this bottom strip, you want to know what I do? I look at my pocket cards to see if there's anything sweet that will fit down there. That'll give me a really fun look. And if there's nothing, then I keep it moving, right? You don't have to use the pocket cards exactly the way they were intended to be used. All right, like this little horsey would be cute there if it fit. Why not? Oh, I like this one. Found it already. See, I'm gonna chop this one up. You get two of these, so why not? So what I do is I measure my pocket very quickly. And it's telling me that at 1/4 of an inch smaller than my pocket, I can cut that at 1 1/4. So I try to see if I could get my image at 1 1/4, and I absolutely can. So I'm going to use it. And it centers it perfectly. And I know what I need to cut that at here. So too bad you're not seeing. There we go. So at 1 1/4, it centered it perfectly. And now I will be cutting off a 1/4 of an inch off of each side until I center my piece to the right size. And there it is. Okay. And that fits there perfectly. Why did I want something super fabulous for here? Because this is what's going to show when you put your photo mats in the pocket. All right. That's what's going to show. So I think about that. I already know this because I because I designed the album. All right, so let me just show you what happens when you change the color of this piece here. And look at the choppiness that you get. When you, it's again, because it's a small area. If you leave it the same pattern, you get a more cohesive look. All right, and you're really going to enjoy that. I promise you. Now you can break up the pattern with your decor. All right, so when you're matting a small area, be very careful not to choose too many prints and patterns for the same area because you're going to make it really choppy and your book is going to look crazy. So this is a good place to stop this video, and I will continue with another part. So look for video Matting 101 part 2, and we will continue this book.